Welcome to Continent 8 podcast series, where we delve into the journeys, successes, lessons learned, and best practices of the gaming and sports betting industry. And see, Continent 8 having powered and protected the global gaming market for over 25 years. I'm your host, Jerad Swimmer, Regional Sales Director here at Continent 8, specializing and focusing on tribal and American gaming sector. Today, we have our special guest, Brent Hutfless, Executive Director of IT Security at Wind Creek Hospitality, and he's with us today for this podcast series titled Tribal Security Readiness. So, welcome, Brent, to our podcast series. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you, Jared. Appreciate the warm welcome and glad to be speaking to everybody.
Yeah. So, Brent and I go back a few years now, and it's been a pleasure to know this gentleman. He's down in Alabama with the Porch Creek tribe, and he's been there for quite some time and has a very extensive background. And I'm going to let you, Brent, tell more about yourself for our listeners and our watchers. So give them some background.
Sure. So I've been with Wind Creek, Porch Band of Creek Indians gaming division for about 7 years now. Before that, I worked primarily in defense and military related industries. And my cyber background, let's see, the first title I had was 25 years ago. So it's
Wow.
kind of a long career path. I deviated a little bit here and there, but I stuck with IT and security in general for almost my entire career. So and it also explains all the gray hair.
So, that's interesting. That 25 years. So, a lot of people don't even realize because most tribes and people I talk to, they think that this cybersecurity stuff has just happened within the last 5 years or so, which stuff has been going on for years and years and years. It's just getting more sophisticated and more advanced. And so just the fact that you've been doing it for that long, says a lot about what this industry is up against in the future. So my first question to you is, what are some of the most common cybersecurity threats faced by tribal gaming operators like yourself?
I think the one that is most prevalent today that really impacts gaming operators in general, and certainly tribal gaming operators, is phishing.
Mm,
That still remains probably the easiest path for the bad guys to get into your organization. Sending that email that just all they need is the right person to click on it and kind of escalates from there. That leads to all the ransomware that we hear about and the hacks that we hear about within the tribal community. And unfortunately, it's something that the advances with AI and the tools that have become available to I would say commercial hacking have made it a bit more difficult to keep those bad guys out. But that's probably the biggest one. Other than that, it's kind of the what we have probably come to expect as far as people, just pounding at the doors, typical, perimeter security issues, unpatched
mm,
uh, equipment systems. There's so many different avenues, but again, that's kind of why I started off with phishing. I think phishing is
sure.
still the key to the bad guys getting in.
So, with that being said, what are the first critical steps that tribal gaming operators and organizations, tribal governments should take to ensure compliance with cybersecurity regulations?
So a lot of us in on the tribal side, we have what are called mix, ticks, and six. And
Hmm.
it's a set of controls that start off at the federal level with the mix and come all the way down through the tribe and the tribal gaming commissions to the operators with the ticks and six. And while they are a good starting platform, it's honestly, it's not enough. So what I would tell all of the operators out there right now is you really need to look at an industry platform. In the past, I've promoted NIST, but I really think that the CIS controls
Hmm.
are a good platform to base a lot of your security on. Uh, it's free. If you're a member of like MSISAC, you get access to a lot of free tools, images, essentially scorecards, things that will help you begin down the path. That's one of them. The other is, from a phishing standpoint, you're going to want to implement some sort of uh, email security measures. If you're using Office 365, of course, there's the advanced threat protection that Microsoft offers, and then there's a number of third-party tools. The other thing that comes to mind is MFA, which is multi-factor authentication,
Hmm.
similar to what most of us use in banking today, whether it's text-based or an app. That's something that provides a lot of additional security benefit, and that even if somebody clicks on it, if they get some credentials, unless they're able to have an additional um, multi-factor to bypass, it's easier for them to take over an account. So having the
Sure.
MFA in place, and then the cheapest, which is training. You need to have a good security awareness program, something that you're doing kind of a constant outreach to all of your employees and team members, and don't just make it about the organization and protecting the organization's assets. Make it something that is universal, that they can go home and apply it at home with their family members, friends, and it's something that they're looking forward to.
Very good. That's listeners. That is platinum right there. Everything he just told you, that guidance and direction, that's perfect. And also, like you said, going home and applying it at home, especially with, I know you and I are the same age and where we came from. I have a 15-year-old daughter. I know you've got kids, and at their age, I wasn't on my phone. I wasn't on a laptop. I was out in the street doing whatever, but not the same today. They know
No.
more than we do. And so if we can apply this type of knowledge for them, I mean, we're enabling and empowering our future leaders, and no matter what realm it is. So great advice there. So with all that being said and everything you just told everybody that they can do, where to go and what to look for. How do operators then, how do they keep up with like the malicious actors and the activities? How do they know, what's coming? What are they doing now? Because we know that, I go back to the movie Maverick that just came out not too long ago. He's teaching his students and he's like, this is everything you know about the plane you're using and everything, blah, 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 what they want you to know, but so does your enemy. And then he throws it in the trash. So how do they keep up with malicious actors and activities?
Oh, that's a great question. And honestly, it's probably one of the hardest to answer, in the sense that uh, this is a field that is constantly evolving, and you need to really stay on top of it. And unfortunately, most organizations don't have a lot of resources to just dedicate to the R&D behind it, or to
Mhm.
search through all of the news that comes out every day about how attacks are changing, how we're experiencing what is essentially a commercialized um, platform where the hackers pay to hack, and there's a high return. So how do you capture all of that and understand what you can do to improve it? So one of them, um, in this case, a good case for a third party like Continent 8 and others is to find a trusted partner. Most of us don't have enough internal resources to do all of these tasks and duties
Mhm.
internally. And from a tribal perspective, in talking with a lot of my peers across the industry, one of the things that we have in common is we work and oftentimes the tribes and the land are not in metro areas.
Right.
So, we're kind of in a dilemma that we're competing for some very scarce resources usually. And most of us again aren't in tech hubs. So it makes sense to look for a managed services provider or someone that you can trust in a partnership to help provide you some of the some of the
Absolutely.
additional skills gaps and cover the gaps and solutions and systems that you don't currently have.
Right. Yes, they do. I know our team as well. We keep up on the times, and because we have to. We can't evolve our platform if we don't know what's up, what's going on out there, and how they're evolving. So great insight on that. Um, What's very popular, I know we were all just at TribalNet, but what's very popular and coming on down the pipeline for everybody is, assessments, VAPT, risk assessment, all of that. So based on your assessment, how frequently should a tribal gaming operator need to review vulnerabilities within their own infrastructure?
I mean, it's going to depend on the tool sets that they have available. Uh, you know, we have a requirement to have an annual assessment done. And honestly, if you're in this business, you should be having someone come in, perform penetration testing, just an overall security posture assessment, risk assessment annually. On top of that, you're going to want to be looking for those vulnerabilities on a regular basis. So, if you have vulnerability scanning tools, you're going to be wanting to check those at least weekly. If you are relying on a third party, you're going to want to have weekly or monthly, results where you're constantly looking at vulnerabilities, things that you need to patch, and then scheduling those. Because again, we're talking about tribal gaming, but
Yeah.
gaming in general. Most organizations patch on the weekends. We can't. That's our busiest time. Um, Most organizations really look forward to things like the coming holidays. Oh, we know we're going to have people out. We're going to have a break, and we'll do all of our maintenance then. So it becomes a challenge to schedule all of those things. But I think that that's something that most organizations need to take seriously. Okay, how are we going to identify our vulnerabilities? And once we do, how are we going to schedule our patching? How are we going to do the updates that we need to? And what can we leverage to make sure that we're actually seeing everything that we need to see?
I couldn't agree with you more. And, in the world of cyber attacks, the need to assess vulnerabilities is a very pressing need, and that's one of the things we found out everybody's trying to do is look for a VAPT. So Brent, as the executive director of IT security at your organization, what, according to you, are the best practices in implementing effective cybersecurity in tribal gaming?
Oh, best practices. I would say for any program, you really need leadership buy-in. You need the security team to have buy-in from that executive team and support from that executive team so that you're able to implement what will be, unfortunately, in many cases, somewhat disruptive to the organization.
Hmm.
Our goal is to try to provide security that is that offers the least disruption. Again, trying to schedule things to be in the off hours, but uh, we're not we're not a profit center. We're a cost center, and
Right.
so you need to get that buy-in, that ownership, and then it needs to be pushed down. So best practices. Again, communication. Um, Planning and budget. So you need to identify kind of what your budget is going to look like. And when you've developed a framework or you've adopted a framework, whether it's CIS or you're stuck early in the stages of just trying to meet the mixed ticks and six requirements. If you're just
Mhm.
standing up a program, you know, look for solutions, find partners if you can do that internally, but look for solutions that will help you uh, meet the most requirements kind of out of the gate. I mean, there's so many things that we could go down, the rabbit
Right.
hole of best practices because cybersecurity is like IT. There's so many different aspects to it. The other is again a training program. That's one of the best practices. Make sure that your people are aware. If you don't have a huge budget, a security awareness program is probably one of the biggest bang for the buck uh, solutions that you can put in place. It's usually very, very inexpensive when you look at it per member,
Yeah.
and the benefit is huge because even if you don't have a tool that recognizes something, as long as you have people that are willing to uh, say, "Oh, I clicked on it.
Right.
I made a mistake. I did this," and they report it. You're already ahead of the game.
And I've worked in casinos for uh, probably 20 years of my career, and we always, every one of you that are listening, if you have an operation, a casino, or even just your government side enterprise, your HR department should have that trainer. Um, Normally, everybody gets it when they come in for orientation,
Yeah.
but setting up, when you do it for Title 31 or for any other one of your software programs that you're doing in F&B, marketing, or whatever, do a 6 month or an annual training program, and you can have somebody from the IT department come in and do that training because social engineering is, we all know about MGM Grand and everything that happened there. And, the bad actor said, hey, I don't even have to go in through your network now. I can just go through your people. And that's where we're at today. So yes, thank you, Brent, for bringing that up. And I hope you listeners have learned so much from talking with Brent today. It's absolutely an honor to have you, Brent. I always look forward to talking to you. I've always learned from you, and I really enjoyed hearing your perspective on cybersecurity and the travel gaming space. Your insights are very truly invaluable. So thank you so much, Brent.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, and I look forward to, Brent and I always talk about everything future and past and current. So we'd love to have you back for maybe some more advanced topics or a higher level going forward. But we'll talk
I
about
look
that
forward to
more.
it.
Yeah. Well, big thank you to our viewers and our listeners. If you have any questions or would like to know more about any of our cybersecurity offerings, please feel free to visit our websites, continent8.com, c8secure.com, or you can contact me at sales@continent8.com.